Okay, in this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys demo how to complete this image over here. We've already done the basic outline. The best advice I can give you guys is first identifying where the darkest shadows are and applying the value where we see them. So I noticed that a lot of the darkest shadows are right here on the edges of these like kind of vine looking details. Okay, and so then I also notice it right here. I also notice it right in here. And so these little areas, this is where it's the darkest, so I'm going in with a little more pressure to those kind of corners. And then I'm releasing the pressure as I go outward. Okay, and so we're kind of seeing that all the way down here, it gets a little bit, right? And so it's really, really dark right here on the edges, but it's not as dark for the rest of the body. Okay, and so I'm going to grab my paper, I'm going to start rotating it because I see one shadow right here, so it goes all right here. Then everything else is just slightly lighter. Okay, same kind of idea over here. This is slightly darker. And then everything else is slightly lighter. Right here we have it slightly dark. Okay, and so we're starting to see that build. And so we just want to go ahead and do that for every single spot that we see those darker values or those darker shadows in. Okay. And then from here, it's going to go right here. And then from here, it's this portion here. And just gets slightly darkened right there. Okay, so now we have the basic kind of placement of the shadows. We can go in and we can start blending it out. This is using the smudging technique. And so we're going in and we're just blending those portions out. And then with the residue, we're just putting in the remainder of the image because the whole thing is gray. So the whole thing should have value on it. Okay. Going just like that. In these areas, I added a little bit more. So in here as well. And then in here, it is possible that I'll only be able to show you guys a portion of how to do it, but the pattern is basically the same, or like the technique is the same no matter how you're using it. And so for this one, I'm actually going to add another layer here just so that I can blend out even better. And then we do see this portion here. And so right now we kind of have something that looks similar to this. And I totally forgot this portion here, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to add it. And then over here, we definitely see it on this side. Okay, so right now we've just added our first layer. So this is kind of what it's looking like if it's in shadow, right? And so it is slightly darker. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our eraser and we're going to start adding these kind of like highlighted areas. So for sure, all of these veins here, they're all highlighted. Now, besides that, we see little textures over here. Those are slightly highlighted too. So we'll use this one as an example. Okay, so this one right here, we went ahead and we erased. Now what we're going to do to give the same kind of texture, we're going to add a little bit of shadow right underneath this. Little bit of shadow right here on the edge of it. And we can actually start shaping it exactly how we want it to look with our pencil. And so now we've added it that way. And so now what we can do is we can start to blend it out. Okay. From here, they do have some like connecting factors, so maybe there's another one this way. Right. There's another one over here, so maybe this one we actually have it colored like underneath like this. And so then from here we can go in and start blending all this together. Okay. And so now we're looking from further away. We are able to create the illusion of all of these things just by erasing and adding different variations of the shadows. We can also not erase at all and just create the look of these kind of vines ourselves. So something like this rather than a deduction kind of way of looking at it. We just do an addition of darker shadows. And then from here, we can go in and start blending these things out too. All right. I do think that the eraser gives it a little bit more of a pop. And so I went in with the eraser just to give that illusion. And so we're just going to be doing that over and over again in every little portion of the leaf. Like over here, you can kind of see that they're a little bit like this. And so we're just creating the illusion of that texture with the shadows. Okay, so why don't you go ahead, tackle the rest of this. There is a lot of variation, so it's a little difficult for me to catch it all on this one camera, but you guys should be able to tackle it on your own too. Okay, all right, see you in the next one.